Your spiritual being according to your zodiac sign. Totem animal. Each person is connected with a certain spiritual being, a totem, which reflects his strength, character, and purpose. This is not just a beautiful symbol, it is an energetic imprint associated with your zodiac sign. Knowing your totem animal will help you better understand your strengths and weaknesses, learn to tap into your inner strength, and make the right decisions when in doubt. In this video, we will reveal what spiritual being lives inside each zodiac sign, and how exactly it influences your destiny, choices, and even intuition. This knowledge is based on an ancient esoteric tradition, where each sign is born under the protection of a special animal, not externally, but energetically. If you want to better understand yourself and your loved ones, stay with us. Subscribe so you don't miss other videos about the spiritual nature of man, and write in the comments how much your totem really resembles you. Are you ready to find out who lives inside you from birth? Then let's get started. Aries, Falcon. The falcon as a spiritual being fully reflects the nature of Aries, swift, fearless, aimed at victory. Its energy is directed upward, into a breakthrough, into movement without hesitation. In every Aries lives that same inner falcon, which does not tolerate restrictions, acts on the call of instinct, and always chooses the height. He does not wait for permission, does not seek approval. He goes where others do not dare even to look. The falcon does not ask questions. He sees the goal and flies to it. And this flight is not about romance, but about control, clarity, and internal discipline. Aries carries this totem within itself, not externally, but internally. Its spirit is the spirit of a hunter, but not for the sake of destruction, but for the sake of precision and superiority. It lives in a state of tense readiness. If a decision needs to be made, it does it faster than anyone else. Its actions are sharp, but pure. It does not get lost in details, does not get entangled in doubts. Its nature is to act. And the falcon, as a symbol of spiritual direction, helps him to maintain heights, even when others are falling down. The falcon's specialty is to see everything from above. He does not get stuck in the chaos of what is happening. He always maintains an overview. The same is true for Aries. At a critical moment, he instinctively rises above the situation to understand exactly where the main thing is. His spirit knows no fatigue. He can wait a long time, and then deliver a precise and instant strike. His strength is in the speed of reaction, but behind this speed there is a clear inner knowledge of when to act. He does not rush blindly. He feels the moment, and this makes him dangerous for enemies and powerful for allies. The falcon does not tolerate boundaries, so does Aries. People of this sign do not tolerate pressure, control, and self-doubt. Their spiritual animal gives them a special impulse, to be the first not for the sake of ego, but because this is embedded in the structure of their energy. They need to soar higher, try new things, challenge the established. They cannot stand still, and if someone tries to hold them back, the falcon spirit will break out and destroy any shackles. The inner falcon of Aries is the power of determination. He knows where his path is, and if this path leads through a storm, he will not turn away. He will fly through it. He is not afraid of heights, is not afraid of loneliness, and is not dependent on other people's opinions. The falcon lives by its own laws, and this makes Aries not just a leader, but a symbol of unconditional courage. When he connects with this spirit, he becomes unstoppable. Taurus, Beaver. The beaver as a spiritual being for Taurus is not just an image of a diligent builder. It is a symbol of inner wisdom, strategic thinking, and absolute reliability. Inside each Taurus lives a totem that works not for the process, but for the result, and a result that is strong, reliable, and sustainable. The beaver does not fuss. He knows that everything requires time, calculation, and stability. So does Taurus. He does not run headlong, but builds his reality brick by brick, reliably, with an eye on decades to come. The beaver is the one who creates space. He changes the flow of rivers, controls nature, builds his own world. Taurus acts in the same way. He does not accept conditions, he creates his own. His spiritual animal reminds, fortitude and perseverance are more important than impulsiveness. And if someone underestimates the external calm of Taurus, he does not see the main thing, the inner strength that can transform the surrounding space for itself. This totem gives Taurus qualities that seem unnoticeable, but they are the ones that bring real strength, patience, calculation, attention to detail, hard work. The beaver does not storm, he calculates. The same is true for Taurus. He does not act quickly, but if he starts, he will not stop. He continues to go even when others have abandoned him. His path is to build a foundation that will not collapse at the first wind. And this is where his spiritual maturity is manifested. The beaver is a creature that respects the rhythm of nature, but knows how to adjust it to itself. Taurus intuitively feels when it is worth speeding up and when to wait. He knows how to invest in what others consider trifles. His strength is in the details. He builds bridges, foundations, borders. His world is a system that he carefully thinks through. And everyone who gets into this world feels reliability, stability, and inner peace. The beaver symbol gives Taurus the ability not to be afraid of routine. For others, it's tiring. For him, it's the meaning. He knows that real things are not built in a day. He doesn't need instant gratification. What's important to him is a result that will outlive everyone else. He works because he understands that without effort, there will be no fortress, and his goal is to create a fortress that will be safe for him and those around him. The inner beaver makes Taurus not just resilient, but one who is able to change the reality around him. He does not attack, does not destroy, does not compete. He builds, and this is his highest power. It is through creation, stability, and reliability that Taurus reveals his spiritual potential. His totem reminds, strength is in the ability to not give up, even when no one believes. And that is why Taurus, connected with the spirit of the beaver, is the support on which generations stand. Gemini, totem animal deer. For a representative of this sign, the deer serves as a spiritual reflection, a symbol of sensitivity, movement, observation, and elevated thinking. It personifies the ability to maintain dignity in any situation, quickly adapt and move forward, not destroying but bypassing obstacles. The deer is not about aggression, it is about dignity at speed. These are the qualities inherent in the energy code of Gemini, and it is through this totem that their hidden resources are activated. The deer gives the representative of this sign the ability to act in a multidimensional environment. Its energy reveals flexibility of thinking, instant reaction, live communication, and ease in switching between tasks. The totem is activated in those moments when Gemini feels internal fatigue from routine, a desire to go beyond the framework. During such periods, the energy of the deer seems to introduce them to the flow. New ideas appear, inspiration is restored, the brain begins to work faster and brighter. The peculiarity of this totem is a subtle sense. The deer never acts without inner confidence. It does not give in to vanity, does not enter into a fight if it does not feel the meaning. This is typical for Gemini, but only in moments when they connect with their natural intuition. And it is the deer that is the symbol through which this connection becomes active. Outwardly, this can manifest itself as a desire for solitude, walks in nature, a change of environment, or even a style of communication. All these are signals that the totem is awakened. The deer is an animal of forests and paths. It moves according to its own laws. And Gemini, during the period of activation of this spiritual being, begin to feel, you cannot stop. Even in moments of uncertainty, it is important to go, even if the road is unclear. During these periods, they do not make mistakes. Intuition, awakened through the totem, leads unerringly. The main risk is getting stuck in thoughts, but it is the deer that pulls Gemini out of the mental labyrinth into the reality of action. The connection with the totem is also manifested through symbolism, images of horns, forest paths, movement in the fog. There may be a desire to change the route, to go where you have never been. This is not an accident. This is a response from the spiritual animal. And it is important not to resist these impulses, because at such moments, the main abilities of Gemini are revealed, to see several steps ahead, instantly connect disparate elements, and feel the essence beyond words. The deer totem forms a special state in Gemini, dignity without pressure. This is a force that does not need to be proven. This is an ease that overcomes brute force. This is a speed that does not destroy. And the more the representative of the sign connects with this image, the more accurately it acts. A subtle energy of admiration appears in his life. People begin to reach out to him, they copy him, they trust him, because the energy of the deer speaks for him. And it says, this is a person you can follow. Cancer, totem animal woodpecker. The woodpecker acts as a spiritual guide for the representative of this sign, a symbol of concentration, rhythm, family stability, and constant work. This is not just a bird, but a totem associated with the power of persistence, fine work, and the ability to hear through noise. The energy of the woodpecker reveals in Cancer not sentimentality, but the ability to finish building, tapping, forming your space so that it protects and supports. This is an invisible but powerful spiritual foundation. The woodpecker works precisely. It never panics, does not act chaotically. Its strength is in rhythm. It knows when to knock, how much, in what direction. In the same way, Cancer, connecting with this totem, activates the ability to systematically achieve results. These are not loud actions, but progressive changes, and this is where its power lies. Cancer with the woodpecker totem becomes a master of structuring. In business, in relationships, in personal life. It creates forms that last for decades. The spiritual animal is especially active during periods when Cancer faces the task of long, at first glance, monotonous work. But it is through this action that the energy of the woodpecker is launched, and not externally, but internally. Thoughts become precise, movements, confident. Cancer has a feeling, I know how and why to do this. This is not inspiration, this is the state of I need. And this is a direct signal from the totem. The influence of the woodpecker can manifest itself unexpectedly. In moments of doubt, Cancer can hear a clear rhythmic sound even if there is silence around. This is not mysticism, but tuning into an internal rhythm. Perhaps there will be a desire to do repairs, tap on the keys, do manual labor. All this is an external form of an internal impulse embedded in the image of the spiritual animal. And when Cancer follows these impulses, he enters a zone of special power. Calm, but impenetrable. Another facet of the totem is protection. The woodpecker builds a nest only when it is sure that no one will disturb it. Likewise, Cancer, led by this image, begins to protect his own family, business, space. He does not retreat, does not give in. His care becomes an active force, capable of moving even those who have already lost faith. This is not ostentatious guardianship. This is fundamental support that is felt without words. The woodpecker totem turns the representative of the sign into a bearer of structural wisdom. He does not throw words to the wind, does not waste energy on the accidental. His actions are precise, like the blows of a beak, and therefore give results. He is not tired, he is focused. And the deeper Cancer connects with this image, the less he needs approval, because he knows what he is doing. He builds his own, and this makes him invulnerable. Leo, totem animal salmon. The representative of the Leo sign is associated with a totem that at first glance seems unexpected, salmon. But this is where the deep meaning lies. Salmon symbolizes movement against the current, a return to the roots and an inner strength that does not need to be demonstrated. A Leo, led by this spiritual being, gains a unique form of resilience, not through aggression, but through unwavering determination and loyalty to the chosen path. This totem indicates one important trait of Leo, the ability to follow one's own course, despite the resistance of the environment. Salmon covers enormous distances to return to where its life began. In the same way, Leo strives for its source of strength, inner truth. Its path is not always straightforward, but it is always charged with deep conviction. The salmon totem strengthens in it an intuitive desire for a true goal, despite the opinions, obstacles, and expectations of others. Leo with this totem has the innate wisdom not to take part in a fight for the sake of fighting. He knows that the main thing is not to defeat others, but to defeat circumstances and his own weakness. This is what makes his forward movement inevitable. Even if outwardly he is calm, inside there is an infallible navigator that leads him to his personal peak. The salmon totem turns Leo into a figure capable of influencing silently, by the power of conviction, not pressure. Salmon is a symbol of returning to the truth. This animal swims through stormy streams, past predators, through falls and rises, and all for the sake of finding itself where a new life begins. For Leo, this is a spiritual message. All trials are not an accident, but a filter that allows you to preserve only the genuine. This sign often goes through situations where you need to give up brilliance for the sake of truth, glory for the sake of depth, recognition for the sake of inner honesty. And it is Salmon that teaches you to do this without fear and regret. The connection with this totem is also manifested in Leo's ability to inspire others not by words, but by example. He becomes a guide who is followed because he himself has gone through a difficult path. His strength is not in conquest, but in knowing where to swim. He does not just lead, he shows that it is possible to reach the goal, even if the current is too strong. His mission is to become the one who proves that choosing your own path is the most important thing, and even if it is difficult, it is worth it. This union of Leo and Salmon forms a special model of leadership. It is not authoritarianism, but confidence, not an order, but a direction, not an ego, but maturity. In Leo, led by this totem, there is greatness, devoid of arrogance. He is able to be a king without lifting a crown. He can be the center of attention without needing applause. His path is a movement towards meaning. This is where his spiritual essence lies. Virgo, totem animal bear. For the Virgo sign, the spiritual reflection is the totem animal bear, the embodiment of strength, balance, and the ability to survive in the harshest conditions. This is a totem of deep inner support, natural persistence, and instinct to protect what is important. The connection of Virgo with the bear reveals the key features of her nature: prudence, attention to detail, readiness to act slowly but precisely. The bear does not fuss, he observes, waits, analyzes. Virgo acts in the same way. Her path is not a rapid takeoff, but a consistent ascent where each step is verified. The totem enhances her natural ability to concentrate, accumulate resources, and manage time wisely. The bear does not go to the noise, he goes where there is a result. This is exactly the tactic that Virgo chooses, led by this spiritual union. The bear is a symbol of endurance and independence. For Virgo, this is a message. She does not have to be understood by everyone. The main thing is to be true to herself. Often, representatives of this sign find themselves in the role of those who work behind the scenes, quietly forming a solid foundation for others. Their contribution is not always immediately visible, but without it, the system collapses. The bear shows, real influence is not loud, it is stable. Virgo, led by this totem, knows, the main thing is the result, not the applause. The bear totem gives Virgo a special type of inner wisdom. This is not superficial knowledge, but a deep understanding of processes. She can feel when to retreat, when to freeze, when to act. The bear does not waste energy, and Virgo will not invest in something that does not make sense. Her intuition becomes especially accurate in difficult situations. Then her instinct kicks in. Precise, animal, but absolutely rational. A special quality enhanced by this totem is the ability to care. The she-bear is one of the most devoted protectors of her cubs. Virgo, in conjunction with this totem, becomes the guardian of order, family, space. Her care can be tough, even demanding, but it is always meaningful. She protects not just for the sake of emotions, but for the sake of preserving what is valuable. For her, care is a strategy, not an impulse. The bear makes this strategy deep and unbroken. This totem also teaches Virgo not to forget about herself. Just as the bear hibernates to restore strength, so Virgo must be able to disconnect from the outside world, restoring herself in silence. This is not a weakness, but a source of her resilience. Without this solitude, she loses her balance. The bear reminds her, inner peace is not a luxury, but a necessity. Thus, the union of Virgo and bear forms a personality capable of standing firm where others would break. This is not the one who rushes into battle, but the one who will wait for the right moment. She is not the one who strives to be in the center, but the one without whom the center will fall apart. Her spirit animal is strength, concentration, and inflexibility. These are the ones that determine her path. Libra, totem animal of the raven. For the representative of this sign, the spiritual being is the raven, a symbol of strategic thinking, hidden strength, and intellectual superiority. The raven does not act impulsively. Its behavior is always permeated with calculation, observation, and the ability to see beyond the obvious. It is through this totem that the unique qualities of Libra are activated: analyticalness, striving for balance, the ability to read situations between the lines. The raven is not just a bird, but a bearer of knowledge that never lies on the surface. It sees not what is visible, but what is hidden, and it is this power that it transmits to Libra. The spiritual nature of the raven is revealed in moments when Libra is faced with chaos or a difficult choice. Outwardly, it may seem that the representative of this sign doubts or hesitates, but in fact, an ancient calculation program is working inside him. He calculates every action, every reaction, every possibility. The energy of the raven allows you to go beyond the current situation and see what will happen in 3, 5, or 10 steps. Thanks to this, Libra does not rush, but waits, and their waiting is not a weakness, but a strategic weapon. The crow totem forms a special intellectual vibration. During this period, a representative of the sign can begin to get carried away by symbols, logic, speech structure, codes, signs, ancient alphabets, or history. All this is a reflection of the work of the crow, which gives Libra the keys to a deeper understanding of reality. It is important not to brush aside such interests. They awaken deep layers of thinking and make perception multidimensional. Then the representative of the sign ceases to be an observer and becomes the one who controls the situation without raising his voice. A feature of the crow is its ability to be alone and in a community at the same time. It chooses when to be part of the system and when to fly away. It is important for Libra to remember, participation is not always strength. Sometimes it is distance that gives clarity. Therefore, during periods when this totem is active, you should not be afraid to be alone. You should not rush to answer. You do not need to explain your steps. The real power of Libra at this moment is in the ability to remain silent, observe, and wait until everyone else makes a mistake. The crow also activates the power of communication, but not in the form of the number of words, but in their accuracy. A representative of this sign can suddenly begin to speak in such a way that his words seem to pierce. He does not raise his voice, but he is heard. He does not impose an opinion, but it remains in the memory. This is not rhetoric, this is resonance. And it is precisely during such periods that Libra is able to change public opinion, convince, lead without resorting to force. This is a masterful work of the mind and symbol, and it works flawlessly. The crow totem gives Libra an extraordinary advantage. They begin to see structure in chaos, find vulnerabilities in systems, feel where the truth is and where the trap is. This can manifest itself even in simple situations: reading between the lines, premonition of the outcome, intuitive distancing from toxic people. All this is the work of a spiritual being that invisibly accompanies Libra and gives them a tool of influence that does not require force. They only need to tune in and allow themselves to think in a way that others do not think. Because the crow is intelligence in its highest, inaccessible form. Scorpio, totem animal snake. The representative of this sign is led by one of the most ancient and mystically rich spiritual creatures, the snake. This totem symbolizes deep transformation, hidden power, rebirth, and control over internal energy. The snake does not attack immediately. It waits, analyzes, listens to the slightest movement of space, and only when it is sure, it strikes a precise, irreparable blow. The snake totem reveals the true nature of Scorpio, not in aggression, but in the ability to manage, change, and survive in any conditions. The snake is a totem of strength that does not need to be demonstrated. Its power is manifested in silence, in attention to detail, in the ability to see where others are blind. The representative of this sign, led by the energy of the snake, becomes hypersensitive to changes. He feels when it is necessary to change the skin, the way of thinking, the environment, the strategy. This is not a whim, it is an instinct for survival at the energy level. And each such skid of the old layer only makes it stronger. The snake gives Scorpio a rare gift to feel the poison in words, in people, in situations. This allows him to defend himself not by force, but by timely departure. He simply disappears when he understands that it is not worth going further. And no one can predict when he will return. But when he returns, already in a different form, with a different look, with a new goal. This ability to transform is a key feature of a spiritual being that has been with him since birth. Scorpio does not need to be afraid of change. On the contrary, he is born to experience them and come out of them stronger. Another side of the snake is healing. not in the literal sense, but as the ability to transform pain into wisdom. The representative of this sign is able not only to cope with the blows of fate, but also to extract a resource from them. He can use the experience of defeats as fuel for personal growth. And at this moment, he activates the main code of his totem, regeneration. Only the snake is capable of recovering so quickly, and only Scorpio feels when it is time to stop, and then return with a force that no one expected. When the snake leads Scorpio, deep processes awaken in him. He can intuitively begin to retire, go into information silence, study ancient practices, work with the energy of the body. All these are signs of totem activation. And the more he is connected with the image of the snake, the less he needs external confirmation. He knows that everything he needs is inside: strength, knowledge, reactions, endurance. He does not show it, but everyone who is nearby feels it. The snake totem turns Scorpio into a figure that cannot be ignored. He may be in the shadows, but it is he who sets the vector. He is not visible in the center, but it is he who determines the key turns of events. The snake does not demand glory, it demands efficiency. And when this totem is active, Scorpio becomes not just a participant in the game, he becomes the one who creates the rules. And then its influence cannot be stopped. Sagittarius, totem animal owl. For a representative of this sign, the owl is a spiritual being that reveals hidden resources and inner nature. This is not an image of a night predator, but a symbol of sharp intellect, strategic thinking, independence from external noise, and the ability to see deeper than any illusions. The energy totem in the form of an owl forms in Sagittarius the ability to read reality without distortion, quickly make the right decisions, and feel the direction even in complete uncertainty. The owl is an observer outside of time. There is no fuss in it. This animal sees in the dark, and Sagittarius, connecting to its archetype, receives a rare gift to distinguish the truth among many contradictions. He becomes not just intuitive, but precise. His words acquire weight, intonation becomes clear, and decisions are verified. The totem is activated especially strongly at moments when the environment becomes turbid. Unclear proposals, questionable contacts, and excess of information. And in such conditions, the owl turns on its inner vision, what allows Sagittarius to stay on track. Another facet of the totem is isolation. The owl hunts alone, and the representative of the sign during periods of activation of this spiritual animal begins to consciously distance himself from the crowd. Disconnect from the information noise, minimize contacts. This is not leaving, this is reconfiguration. On such days, he begins to see the connections that previously eluded him, notices the little things behind which the main decisions are hidden. The owl teaches us to value silence as a resource, and Sagittarius becomes wiser, more mature, more accurate. This totem also enhances analytical abilities. The information that comes to Sagittarius begins to be structured effortlessly. It is as if he knows in advance what to believe and where the trick is. His instincts reach a new level, and he himself feels it in the reaction of the body, in the lightning-fast assessment of risks, in the sharp internal no that does not require explanation. All this is the work of the totem. And if the representative of the sign trusts these impulses, he will avoid strategic mistakes that could cost him dearly. The owl also reveals the gift of knowledge transfer. Sagittarius becomes not just a bearer of information, but a conductor of meaning. People begin to listen to him. They begin to believe him. Even in a short conversation, he can awaken awareness in a person, change the direction of thinking. This happens naturally, because the energy of the owl sounds deep and calm. There is no need to prove, explain, argue. Presence is enough, and this is already the power of influence. And finally, this totem sharpens intuitive protection. Sagittarius, under the influence of the owl, senses in advance where danger may be and moves out of the line of attack. This is a protective barrier without external armor. This is a state in which danger bypasses simply because he does not fall into it. Such precision is possible only when a person connects with a spiritual being that resonates with his nature. And for Sagittarius, this is the owl. Capricorn, totem animal goose. The totem animal goose for a representative of this sign is not a banal image of caution or a migratory bird, but a deeply structured symbol of devotion to one's path, strategic movement, organization, and spiritual orientation. Goose is about a vector, about foresight and the ability to move where others are afraid. For Capricorn, this totem activates internal discipline at the energy level. He becomes not just purposeful, but absolutely unwavering in decisions, actions, strategy. The goose is an animal of the route. It always flies along a given course, despite the distances and changes in the weather. It is this symbol that reveals in Capricorn the ability not to get lost in a changeable world. He becomes an anchor in his own life and a point of stability for others. This is manifested in unexpected confidence, in the ability to calculate the consequences, in the refusal of emotional decisions. Even under pressure of circumstances, the representative of the sign begins to act as if he had already seen this scenario before. This is a direct result of the activation of the totem. The peculiarity of the goose is that it always acts in accordance with its internal compass. Its route is not accidental, and Capricorn, under its influence, begins to feel, "I know where I am going." Even if the path is difficult or unpopular, it continues. And it is at such moments that events begin to happen that it could not have achieved in any other way, an offer that no one expected, support from those who were previously silent, the opening of doors that were considered closed. All this is a response to the faithfulness of the path. The goose also symbolizes leadership through personal example. It does not command, it leads. Capricorn, under its influence, stops wasting energy on persuasion or proof. It simply acts, and others follow it, without arguments, without conditions, because there is a clear vector, logic, and internal integrity in its actions. This is not charisma, it is a magnet of purpose, and it is felt by everyone who is nearby. This totem also enhances the energy of the resource. In its presence, Capricorn becomes a collector, protector, and keeper. He stops rushing between goals, concentrates, and that is when his efforts begin to bring results in multiples. Money, recognition, positions, everything comes through discipline and loyalty to oneself. This is not a miracle, but calculation multiplied by persistence, and the goose makes this persistence energetically impenetrable. And one more facet, spiritual purity. The goose does not live in chaos, he chooses the environment. Capricorn, under the influence of this totem, begins to clean out his environment. People, projects, even internal beliefs. This cleansing leads to acceleration, less garbage, higher speed. Everything that is superfluous falls away by itself, because the totem activates energetic hygiene, and then the path becomes smooth, precise, long, and there are no more accidents in it. Aquarius, totem creature, otter. A representative of the Aquarius sign has a unique ability to break standards and smoothly bypass restrictions from birth. His spiritual being, the otter, reflects flexibility of thinking, independence, and unusual tact in actions. It is neither a predator nor a victim, neither a leader nor a follower. It is an observer who never goes with the flow, but always knows exactly where it is safe and where it is dangerous. The otter is an animal that lives on the border of two elements, water and land. In the same way, Aquarius always balances between logic and intuition, between knowledge and imagination. His internal compass is not tied to generally accepted landmarks. He can unexpectedly break ties, change cities, professions, environments, and each time it will not be chaos, but subconscious navigation. He swims where there are no boundaries, and the otter totem is exactly about this. The otter is smart and careful. She does not get into a fight if she can get away. Aquarius is also not prone to a head-on collision. He gets around obstacles using his mind and unusual logic. In conversation, he may seem unpredictable, but in reality, his every step is thought out and verified. Like an otter, he easily adapts to a new environment, quickly gets used to it, finds his roots, and does it with invisible grace. He will never cling to the old. He is closer to movement, experimentation, freedom. The otter totem gives Aquarius the ability to see imperceptible details. While others pay attention to the main thing, he notices the nuances. He catches what is not said, feels the mood of the space, hears the silence between words. This fine-tuning allows him to get out of the most difficult situations, not only without losses, but also with new advantages. He is not the one who attacks first, but he always comes out the winner, thanks to his ability to leave before the storm begins. An Aquarius with an otter totem is a person who does not tolerate attachments built on fear or duty. He seeks purity in relationships, ease in contact, deep mental resonance. He is not attached to the physical. He is interested in internal movement, growth, development. He may seem cold, but in fact, he simply does not live by the emotions of others. He lives his truth. And he does it as freely as an otter glides on the surface of the water, knowing that at any moment he can dive into the depths. Pisces, totem creature, wolf. Pisces are born with a deep inner sense and understanding of the hidden mechanisms of life. Their totem, the wolf, does not indicate external wildness, but a powerful system of internal survival, connection, instincts, and devotion. The wolf does not need noise, but can stand up to defend its territory at any moment. In Pisces, this is manifested in the fact that they can be soft, but their boundaries cannot be violated. Behind the external silence is a will of steel. The wolf is a creature of the pack, but it never loses its individuality. Pisces know how to be part of a group, adapt, listen, feel the rhythm of others, but at the same time they always have an inner world into which they do not let anyone. This world is guarded by silence, distance, and observation. If someone tries to penetrate there by force, they meet a closed door. The wolf allows intimacy only to those who have passed the test. Pisces' inner sense is a direct reflection of the wolf's instinct. It senses danger seconds before it manifests itself. In the same way, Pisces are able to detect changes before they become obvious. They know who not to mess with, they sense lies in a voice, they recognize falsehood in a smile. Their intuition works without logic. It is constantly on, like a predator's night vision. The wolf does not look, it feels. Pisces do not analyze, they know. The connection with the wolf totem makes representatives of this sign not only deep, but also incredibly loyal. If Pisces open their hearts to you, they will protect you, even if you yourself have already given up. But betray them, and you will be crossed out forever. They have no need for revenge. The door will simply be closed, and you will never hear their voice again. This is not an insult, this is protection. The wolf does not allow the enemy to remain in the forest. The wolf also symbolizes the path. This is not a creature that lives for survival. It moves, searches, finds, loses, and rises again. Pisces live in cycles, and each fall for them is preparation for the next growth. They do not hold on to the old, but they do not abandon it without respect. They have their own truth, their own rhythm, and their own paths. Like a wolf at night, they go into solitude to return later with a new understanding. And no one should interfere with them in this process.